All right, welcome back to Burt's Basics. So now we're going to start to tackle leukocytes. Now, I have to give you a disclaimer here. When we get done with this unit, or this video, you're not going to feel very confident on leukocytes. You're going to be like, wow, that's all we need to know? And the answer is yes, and the answer is no. Leukocytes will be talked about in extreme detail in the lymphatic system. So right now, we're just more than anything introducing leukocytes and especially their classifications. That's what we're doing right now. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And once again, you're going to learn a ton more about these when we do the immune system, lymphatic system, okay? So we already know this already. We know white blood cells are leukocytes. Leukocytes' main job is to fight immunity or to fight infections. So we're going to call them immune cells. Okay? They basically are our #1 immune system. Now, what we didn't know is that leukocytes can be divided into 5 classifications. So there's 5 different types of leukocytes, and they're divided into groups. So we're going to draw one group over here. I'm going to draw my other group over here, and like I said, there's 5. So once again, I do all these dumb stories to try to help me remember these because it's tricky for me, especially when we get to these harder words. So if I offend anyone, I apologize. But whenever I think of this, I think of this. You guys ready? These are your dividing groups. We have what we call granular leukocytes. Okay, and then I'm going to switch colors to try to make them a little bit different. Okay, then we also have agranular leukocytes. So you can see right away that I have granular and agranular. So the words even sound a lot alike. Now, if you know med term, you put A in front of a word. That means not or without. So obviously, these ones are grainy, and these ones are agrainy. Okay. So when I think of granular, I think of sandpaper. Okay. I think of sandpaper, how you go to the store and you buy sandpaper based on how much grain they have. But here's what I really think of. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho. And no, those are not chicken pox. Okay? You know, he's probably going to be kind of sad. Let's give him a sadder face. Oh, whoops. Okay, does he look sad? Congratulations, guys. You just have met Ben. And whenever I think of poor Ben, I think of Ben as a pimply-faced kid with grains all over his face. So if your name is Ben and you're watching this, I extremely apologize. But this is how I think of it. Poor Ben is a pimply-faced kid. Guess what? When we zoom in on white blood cells, okay, when we zoom in on white blood cells, we can tell what they are by their appearance. Okay, some are very, very, very grainy. See how they're grainy in appearance? Now, why do you think I said that Ben is super, super, super pimply? Well, guess what? There are 3 white blood cells that are granular. So let's go back to our picture here. And they all start with these letters, okay? So now what you need to do is you need to know that these 3 white blood cells are my granular leukocytes. And we're going to talk about each one in succession. So we're going to start with my basophils. We're going to talk about my eosinophils. And we're going to talk about the almighty neutrophils. Those are the 3 that we're going to talk about that are granular. So then over here in the agranular, these guys I don't have as cool a story, okay, but you should recognize these guys. These guys are the almighty lymphocytes, which is the lymphatic system pretty much. So lymphocytes are huge, and the almighty monocytes, okay? Monocyte's going to bother you like crazy because he changes his name everywhere he goes, okay? So those are our guys. So let's talk about each one in succession. But there is a guaranteed test question right there. True or false? Eosinophils are agranular. Well, that's false because eosinophils are the grainy ones. So let's look at each one really quick, okay? So let's start with who we're looking at. Let's start with this guy first. Here's my basophil. You can see your basophils are super grainy, right? They have bumps all over them. Those are full of digestive enzymes, so if they can get something, they can kill it. Then we got our eosinophils, which if you notice, once again, super, super bumpy, super, super grainy. Then our last one is my almighty neutrophil. Also super, super, super grainy, okay? Now, I'm not going to ask you specific test questions about each one of these, but there is some information here you probably should be aware of. If you ever get this question, without doubt, neutrophils are our most abundant white blood cells. Okay, neutrophils kill a lot of things. Sadly, they tend to give their lives when they kill things. They tend to explode when they give things or kill things. But they are fantastic at phagocytic removal of foreign particles. Okay, when we talk about eosinophils are cool because they have to deal with allergens and worms, which is kind of fun. Okay, basophils, honestly, they have some histamine reactions. We don't know a ton about basophils. So these are your guys here. So I'm not going to ask you specific questions about each one of these, but I definitely need you to know that without doubt, Ben are my granular leukocytes or granulocytes. Those are my bumpy ones. Basophils, eosinophils, and neutrophils. So now let's go to my next subset. My next subset are my agranular. And if you look at the picture, you're going to figure out why they call them agranular. There's no bumpy. So lymphocytes are one of my two agranulars. And then your last one is your monocyte. Okay, your monocyte is also agranular. So if you look, there's not a lot of grains in there when you stain them. So these are your agranular. Same thing as the prior ones. I'm not going to ask you too many questions about them. Now, I am going to teach this in extreme detail when we do the lymphatic system. But right now, all I need you to know is that these guys are my agranular leukocytes, or my non-bumpy leukocytes. So let's now go through our 5 one more time, just to make sure you understand all 5 of these guys. So our 5 are, we have our basophils, we have our eosinophils, we have our neutrophils, and these guys are different because these guys are my what? You should have said granular. These are my grainy ones. Granular. Then I have my monocytes, okay? And then after my monocytes, I have my lymphocytes. And these two are agranular. Now, obviously, there's going to be a reason why they're granular and agranular, but we'll talk about that more when we do the lymphatic system. All right, I think that's it for white blood cells. Yep, there's your final picture. You can see some are grainy, some are not. Now, you can look at this and be like, well, if I look close, I see some grainies. Well, you got to remember that most of them are going to be non-grainy, okay? Monocyte's annoying. He changes his name a lot, so don't even worry about that yet. We'll deal with that when we get there. But if you look how grainy that is. And remember, the easiest way to remember this is think of Ben. Oh, I put one on his eyeball. That's unfortunate. Sorry. Remember, Ben, bumpy face kid. All right, guys, thanks for watching Burt's Basics. That's leukocyte classification. I'll see you on the flip side.